Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn with the Active Trend Traders. Welcome to the Aftermarket Mondays. This is a very quick overview of the markets to see what's going on, see if there's anything setting up into the this part of the week. And so let's get going. We will try to keep this to between 10 to 15 minutes at max. It's not meant to answer a lot of questions. It's supposed to basically, here's what I'm seeing going on in the market going into the beginning of the week. I want to remind everybody that all materials presented are for training purposes only. Traders should always pay per trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. We link in the Aftermarket Mondays to the How to Make Money Trading Stocks on Friday webinar. To basically Friday's webinar, we'll take a look at it. So here's what we were looking at on Monday. How did it turn out? Did we get any trades out there and this type of thing? So that's how this all works together. And these are the free webinars, and of course our premium members, they get to enjoy the final hour on Friday where we set up trades, actual trades going into the final hour, and then our training on Wednesday night. So our objective for today, timely actionable intel at the beginning of each week, market review, stocks and ETFs setting up, and what else. And I just want to, and so have patience, stand back and respect the rhythm. And I want to thank everybody for your prayers and good wishes after last week I was incapacitated. What happened, guys, is here's the ladder going up into my attic. I was sitting up here in the attic, started to let myself down. My arm gave way as I was letting myself down, missed the ladder. You can see that I missed the complete ladder, and you see the arrow right there where the pin is. Well, that's where I finally contacted the ladder. And those are my teeth marks. And that is a PTL for praise the Lord, because it wasn't as bad. It didn't turn out to, it could have killed me. Let's just bottom line it there. And so that's, or severe injury. So I'm very thankful. That's what happened. Scared the heck out of my wife, scared the heck out of me. And so I fell about, this is about 9 feet top of the ceiling on the garage, and so free fall to here, one bounce, and then to the floor. So that's what happens. So again, I'm recovering exceptionally well, except for those dead spots in my mouth. So let's get back to what we were talking about. Stocks, ETFs, setting up. FAS, we're holding a FAS position, 1/2 position. We entered at 42.54. We're just watching for either one to let it take out the trailing stop at $44, or for a second chance entry to build that position up. We'll see what transpires with that one. We're already profitable very nicely on that one. Matter of fact, all the trades that we made during the month of April for Strategy 1 turned out to be really nicely profitable, so especially those ones where we triggered in at the end of the month. Right now I'm looking at Nugget, UCO, CRUS, ESNT, and then there are earnings on NVIDIA and NetEase. These are not, well, I'm not going to buy them or do anything with them before earnings, but they have earnings this week. Tesla, I'm waiting for a setup, and so let's take a real quick look at the charts on these as we run through them. Here we go. Okay, S&P. The S&P, basically, we broke out of this channel, went all the way back up into resistance that we called on Friday, and it basically just didn't do much of anything today with this resistance up here. What I'm looking at is that would be considered a hanging man type of reversal candlestick. But it would need to be confirmed to drop back down. Right now we're just moving within this 2323 area up to about 2400, and that's where it is bound up. What are we seeing over here? Yes, we did get a tick up on the TSI on the weekly basis, but look at the momentum on the weekly basis, still pointing down, and a little bit of a tick up on the longer term momentum on the market forecast. This right now, as it stands right now, since we just made up a slight new high, this would be considered a negative divergence on S&P. NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ. Continue to push a little bit higher today on the weekly chart. Again, also showing this negative divergence that you see going on here. And as you can see, push a little bit higher. But it too is, as it's pushing higher, the TSI and also the momentum. See the momentum pointing down. That's typically a telltale sign that this little upswing here is weaker than those in the past. Now, everybody can see those. Okay, we've got a little bit of negative divergence here. You definitely have negative divergence there and some negative divergence on the weekly chart. So it's not saying sell me, but it's not saying get long either. We need a better setup than what we have and a better catalyst. Let's see, Russell. Let's try that again, Russell. Okay, Russell looks kind of interesting. Keep an eye on Russell. We're getting a nice little pullback into past levels of support. And so is it going to hold? Nothing on the TSI said we're going to tick up to go to the upside on either the daily or the weekly. Weekly had broken up a little bit, but kind of was weak today. But it is an area, if we consolidate here around the 50-day moving average, that might give us a good setup going into TQQ in the near future. TQQ, not TQQ, TNA. So what about those other ones we're looking at real quick? Nugget. NUGT, Nugget. Good signal based on last Friday. Entered a trade on this today based on the tick up last week and a green candle closing above the red dot. What are we anticipating in this? If you're along in this trade as a premium member, draw a trend line between here, down across that way, approximately, extend it a little bit. Excuse me. Extend that just a little bit, and if we work back up into that area, which is about, if it maintains the similar type of symmetry, we'd work it back up to about the 38 level. That's where you'd look at potentially taking some profits off. Of course, your stop loss is just below that swing low. UCO. UCO. TSI tick up signal today, and we sent out the alerts to get into this prior to the end of the day today if it held above this level but didn't run above this level too far. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. Some of the other stocks that we're looking at. And if you're a premium member, I'll send out the alert again tonight to say, okay, here's what I would consider getting a CRUS. It has earnings. Actually, it had earnings. So it had earnings here. I'm liking this pullback into a level of support. Why? I'm watching it for, if it stops right there at 62.56, that's a great area. Or anywhere down here in the around the 50-day moving average, watch the TSI. May give us a real quick turnaround and a bounce up. CRUS. ESNT. ESNT is a little bit flaky, but it's getting this nice little runs here. Look for support down here at the 34 level, and if it breaks out, look for it down at the 32 level. And because these little swings here, they're not huge, but they're about 10 to 15%, which works fine. Just be aware that draw your support and resistance lines in, and I'm going to wait for my TSI to roll up wait for momentum to roll up. And in this one, we may get, something work out with the TSI on the weekly chart. That would provide us a longer term trade. How are we doing time-wise, guys? I feel like my mouth's not working as fast as it used to. So I'll cover one more, NVDA. I'm not going to touch this, but it has earnings here. And so let's look to see what happens with earnings if we blow back out through support. We may get a trigger on up here, from 107 or 110 up to 120 after earnings, or if it drops out the bottom, we have some downside opportunities. NTES, NetEase, longer term, I really like, that's a pretty pattern on NetEase. Earnings after market on the 10th, but look at that, nice, it's just pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, and it's very easy to draw a trend line across here, and if that trend line is broken to the upside, that could be a trigger to get in, or we'll be watching to see what happens down here about the 260 level. So that's it for today, guys. We held it to about 10 minutes. Yeah, 11 minutes. Just join. Did you already talk about Tesla? Didn't talk about Tesla because it wasn't one of the items that we were looking at. What I will do, because I've got about a minute before I run out of time, I will talk about Tesla really quick. Tesla, there we go. Tesla's trying to make up its mind about which way it wants to go. It's got resistance up here at 32, about 330, support down here at 291, and it is trying to make up its mind which way it wants to go. I'm kind of liking Tesla more for a stronger pullback, at least maybe into either the 8-week moving average or the 20-week moving average, because of this negative divergence here. Right now, I'm just hanging in there, waiting for a weekly setup for a directional trade. We already have our strategy 3 trade in on Tesla. So that's it for today, guys. Again, thank you so much for all the good wishes and all that type of thing, and I just appreciate the heck out of everybody. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate that. God bless. Have a great week. Check in with us on Friday. Goodbye, everybody.